Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim?
Hey, Joma, nice to see you. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to observe the United Nations International Anti-Corruption Day, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is reaffirming its commitment to kick corruption out of Nigeria. Fielding questions from journalists in Abuja after a walk to commemorate the day, the acting chairman of the commission, Mr. Ibrahim Magu, says the nation's challenges can only be addressed if every Nigerian says no to corruption.
The 9th of December each year is designated as the United Nations International Anti-Corruption Day. It is for this reason that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission stormed the streets of Abuja to demonstrate its preparedness to kick out corruption from the country. With the walk over, the chairman of the commission speaks on the significance of the day.
People have come out openly to identify with the anti-corruption activities. You have national heroes, Mary Onyale, Choma Ajoyna, Samson Siasia. These are names that rings bells, and they did so well for this country. So it's very, very encouraging. The fight against corruption has come to stay.
Non-discrimination. Away from the Anti-Corruption Day, the National Human Rights Commission also joined the rest of the world to celebrate 70 years of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In a lecture to mark the day, the president of Center for Social Legal Studies solicits the cooperation of Nigerians in the fight against violent extremism.
We also need what is called a national plan for preventing violent extremism. We need a systematic plan, well coordinated, developed in conjunction with relevant stakeholders, the military, the human rights society, the human rights organizations, the civil society, religious institutions. Let us have a comprehensive national plan to address the challenge of violent extremism.
The Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission gives his appraisal of Nigeria's human rights record.
Even in progressive communities, rights can be violated, but you have a mechanism that can address the violation of your human rights. So today, we thank God that we are among the Committee of Nations that uphold human rights, and when our rights are violated, there are a place you can go and complain so that your rights can be redressed.
The theme of the 2018 International Human Rights Day is Stand Up for Human Rights, a call that goes to countries, institutions, and individuals.
And in another development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has denied arresting the sons of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has been alleged in some quarters. In a statement, the Commission spokesperson, Mr. Tony Orilade, explains that contrary to the insinuations on the arrest, the EFCC has been investigating former Abia Governor Senator Theodore Orji over alleged 27 billion naira money laundering. It says in the course of the investigation, it was discovered that Senator Orji laundered part of the money through his sons. According to the statement, the EFCC had on Friday, December the 7th, traced one of the cars allegedly bought by Senator Orji's son to a nightclub in Abuja before arresting him and his friend who has a similar car. The statement adds that the young men led operatives to their apartment, where documents retrieved showed it was rented for 13 million naira each per annum. Atiku Abubakar's sons are reported to be residing in the same building, housing the young Orji's apartment. Meanwhile, the president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Mr. Paul Usoro, is to be arraigned at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos on the 18th of December. His arraignment for an alleged 1.4 billion naira fraud was stalled today because he was yet to be served with the charge sheet. Channels Television Judiciary correspondent Shola Shwele reports that the NBA president was served with the charge sheet at the EFCC Lagos office after today's court proceedings. And that's all we have from Abuja. We return to Ijo Mahina Lagos studios for the rest of the news at 10.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Ibrahim. Thanks a lot. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to taking the necessary steps to address the demands of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The Minister of Labour and Productivity offered this assurance at the end of today's meeting with leaders of the union in Abuja, which was adjourned to Monday, December the 17th. Meanwhile, the ASUU National President Biodu Ogunyemi says the union will wait to the adjournment date to see how the federal government will deliver on its promises before taking a decision on the industrial action. The lingering strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities has entered its 5th week after lecturers embarked on an industrial action on November the 4th. They are protesting, among other things, the non-payment of already earned salaries, university revitalization, and poor funding for the state universities. Today's meeting with the Minister of Labour followed a series of deadlock meetings in the last 3 weeks. And after a successful issuance of the sovereign sukuk last year, the federal government is set to issue the second phase, known as the FGN Sukuk 2. The 100 billion naira instrument issued through the Debt Management Office will provide the government with revenue to finance capital projects such as roads, while giving investors a secure investment option. At a meeting with potential investors, stakeholders highlighted the benefits of the instrument for the overall development of the country.
This represented diversification. At least you can have...
Gathered here are potential investors, government officials, and players in the financial services sector. The purpose is to analyze the second phase of the federal government-issued investment bond, known as FGN Sukuk 2. With full subscription of the first phase last year, the federal government is back in the market to raise revenue for road projects through a 100 billion naira investment certificate. The instrument is issued through the Debt Management Office, which says FGN Sukuk 2 is indicative of the federal government's commitment to infrastructure development.
The amount the government is dedicating to capital spending from the budget, the Sukuk is one of them for infrastructure. Is really to achieve economic diversification. If you are looking for investors and you don't have roads, you don't have power, will they come? And if they do, the cost of production will be very high, right? So all of that is being achieved through various ways.
Stakeholders say the sukuk is most ideal for risk-averse investors and guarantees a win-win situation.
One of the benefits, very strong benefits of investing in the FGN sukuk is that it's backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government. So from a risk perspective, it's the lowest risk investment that one can really partake in Nigeria.
Even the federal government is proud, all right, to showcase the sukuk issue as an example of programs that work, all right? We have seen the situation where we promised to have money dedicated to specific projects, and we're able to show Nigerians the projects where this money has really made a difference. And indeed, it's actually a lot easier because these are roads.
The FGN Sukuk 2 is one of available options for governments to finance critical infrastructure such as roads, while providing a secure investment option for both individual and institutional investors, with a unique benefit of creating jobs, among other benefits.
And for the rest of the business news, here's Kayode Ukikiolu.
Thanks, Ijeoma, and you're welcome to Business News. The German government is promising a new fund specially dedicated for small and medium-scale companies to do business in Africa as part of ways to enhance economic relationship between the two countries. This was revealed at a Nigerian-German business dialogue in which the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, as well as Nigerian entrepreneurs attended in Berlin. The central bank has added fertilizer to the list of 41 items earlier classified not eligible for foreign exchange in its continued efforts to sustain the achievement recorded. According to a statement signed by the CBN's Director, Trade and Exchange Department, Ahmed Umar, the ban takes effect from December the 7th, 2018. This brings the total number of the items to 42, which the financial regulator will no longer allocate forex for importation into the country. The CBN, however, assured that transactions and fertilizers which have outstanding requests made before December the 7th will be honored by the regulator. And elsewhere, Nigeria's stock market ends the first trading day of the week in the red, following a fresh sell-off across all major counters of the NSE. Tosi Adeshino has details of today's transactions.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Monday's trading session at the NSE begins the second week of December with negative sentiments across board, following renewed profit taking by investors. The market's total value fell by 92 billion naira from Friday's figure to 11.176 trillion naira, while the main index dropped by 0.82%, primarily on heavy sell pressure from consumer goods components. The price chart also ended with a negative margin of 25 losers, led by 9.62% drop from livestock, against 14 gainers led by 8.47% increase from Trans-Nationwide Express. Total volume of shares traded for the day was moderate at 164.58 million units in over 3,100 transactions, with the shares of Diamond Bank, FBN Holdings, and Sterling Bank as lead contributors. That's the stock market report. I'm Tosin Additional.
Many thanks, Tosi. U.S. markets closed over an hour ago with positive sentiments, erasing sharp losses from previous session as shares of tech stocks posted strong rebounds across boards. Meanwhile, it's mostly negative performance for other major markets in other regions. Here are some of the closing figures for the day. Well, that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu.